podcast where truth moves faster than a Holstein calf. No waiting on some pretty page. We're charting your ground in the digital age. From genomic codes to row-out facts, we cut through the noise, no holding back. Not your daddy's dairy news tonight. We're sparking debates with every insight. The ring's not where the real fight's at. It's in the data, in the channel chat. From pasture to processor to your morning cup, we're raising the stakes. Try and get ahead of herd. Yeah! Where the future's more than just a word. Ahead of herd. Come on! The bullvine's calling, let your voice be heard.
Welcome to the Bullvine Podcast, where we dive deep into the stories, innovations, and game-changing developments that are revolutionizing dairy farming. Today, we're bringing you an episode that could literally save your operation hundreds of thousands of dollars, while giving you access to the most advanced farm modeling technology ever created. Picture this. What if I told you that while you've been paying up to $26,000 annually for farm management software that won't even show you how it calculates your numbers, Cornell University just released something infinitely better, for free. Today, we're exploring the Ruminant Farm Systems model, or RuFaS, an open-source revolution that's about to shake the $2 billion agricultural software industry to its core. This isn't just another tech story. This is about transparency versus black boxes, collaboration versus exploitation, and why the smartest dairy farmers are already making the switch. Whether you're running a 300-cow operation or managing multiple sites, whether you're focused on environmental compliance or maximizing profitability, this episode will challenge everything you think you know about farm management software. We'll break down exactly how RuFaS works, why the National Farm Program chose it over expensive proprietary alternatives, and most importantly, what this means for your operation's future. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's dive into the story that could change how you think about farm technology forever. This is the Bullvine Podcast, and we're about to explore the open-source revolution that's putting power back in the hands of dairy farmers.
Okay, let's dive into this. If you're running a dairy farm, always looking for that edge, you've probably felt this pain point. You're spending a lot, thousands every year on farm software.
Yeah.
And it often feels like a black box, right? You put data in, get numbers out, but you can't really see how it gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it feels like it's built on assumptions that just don't quite match your farm, maybe even treat you like you should just, trust the system. That's a real frustration out there.
It is. And that frustration, the cost, and that lack of transparency, that's really the launch pad for this fascinating article we're digging into today from the Bullvine. It talks about an open source revolution happening in farm software.
A revolution, huh?
Yeah, sparked by one specific tool. So our mission here is to unpack this. What is this new tech? Why is the industry supposedly, panicking? And most importantly, what could it actually mean for your farm? We want to challenge some conventional thinking here.
Absolutely. This deep dive is really for you, the listener, to cut through the jargon and get to what matters. Because if this article's right, it's not just another software update.
No, it's a fundamental shift.
So where do we start? The problem, I guess.
Exactly. The problem you just laid out. This multi-billion-dollar industry built on proprietary software. And the critique in the source is pretty sharp.
It really is. Just look at the cost. We're talking $5,000, maybe $15,000 a year for one tool.
Per tool, yeah.
And you need several, right? Herd management, ration, environmental, maybe economic, crop stuff. So you could easily be looking at, $9,000, $10,000, up to maybe $26,000 every single year.
It adds up incredibly fast.
Over a decade. That's potentially $100,000, even over $250,000. That's serious capital.
That's a new calf barn. That's parlor upgrades, real stuff.
And the article calls it the $2 billion black box scandal. You pay all this money, but the software, it hides the algorithms.
Hides the calculations, the assumptions. You can't see inside. The analogy they used was great, like buying a new parlor, but they won't show you the milk meters work or explain the pulsation. Just trust us.
Which, is okay until it's not okay.
Right.
Until the results look weird.
Right.
And if you can't see the engine, how do you tweak it? How do you make it fit your cows, your feed, your fields? A lot of this stuff still uses herd averages.
Kind of treats every cow the same.
Yeah. Is that how you manage your herd? Averaging everything? No way.
Yeah.
You manage individuals.
Exactly. Or it uses these like generic emission factors that aren't specific to your farm, your region, your practices, maybe even outdated ones.
And there's this underlying vibe sometimes, isn't there, that, well, maybe farmers are too busy or not techie enough to get the details.
Just trust the system. Yeah. It's like that feed salesman who won't tell you what's actually in the bag.
So, okay, that's the scene. Expensive, opaque, sometimes limited tech, maybe a bit patronizing. But this article, it introduces something totally different.
Yeah, it introduces RuFaS, RuFaS, the Ruminant Farm Systems model, developed by researchers up at Cornell University.
Go ahead.
And here's the kicker. It's free.
Free.
And open source.
Okay, free and open source. That's a curveball for the industry. But is it just free or is it actually, better?
That's the claim. It's positioned as a major technological step up, instead of averaging the herd.
Which we just said isn't realistic.
Right. RuFaS simulates individual animals through their entire life cycles. It uses some pretty sophisticated math, Monte Carlo stochastic simulation to capture all that natural variation.
Right.
Think about it. You manage based on age, lactation, genetics, body condition, repro status, even the pen they're in, right? RuFaS aims to model that.
Simulating every single animal. That's a level of detail.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. And it's a systems model, you said, so it's not just the cows.
Nope, it's the whole farm. Fully integrated. It's got 4 main modules, and they all talk to each other, simulated day by day.
Okay, let's break those down. What are the modules?
So first, the animal module simulates life cycles based on the latest science, NRC NASM 2021, but it goes way beyond just feed.
Okay.
It tracks your voluntary waiting periods, your breeding protocols. It calculates enteric methane using detailed methods, IPCC Tier 2 specific to the farm. It figures out precise manure output, N, P, solids, urine for each cow. Even considers things like walking distance.
Walking distance, seriously.
Yeah, or heat stress impacts.
Yeah.
When did your ration software ever ask about how far cows walk to the parlor?
Never. Okay, that highlights the difference. So the animal module feeds into what next?
Into the manure module, it tracks all those nutrients and solids from the barn through storage. Maybe you use mechanical separation or anaerobic digestion. It models that.
Okay.
And it simulates emissions from storage, nitrous oxide, ammonia, methane, and it counts for leachate too.
And then logically it connects to the fields.
Exactly. Through the crop and soil module. This pulls in established agronomic models, things like SWAT, SURFOS, DECENT, to simulate daily crop growth.
Based on what?
Based on, solar radiation, temperature, water, nitrogen. It also models soil, greenhouse gas emissions, nutrient runoff, leaching losses. And you can test different field management scenarios side by side.
How much are farms paying consultants right now for that kind of detailed field modeling?
Good question. A lot, probably.
Right. And the last piece, the feed.
Yep, the feed storage module. This tackles something often ignored but critical. What actually happens in this silo or bunker?
Or shrink.
Exactly. Dry matter loss, protein degradation, how feed quality changes over the season, emissions from storage, leachate. It makes sure the model uses the feed quality you're actually feeding in, say, March, not just what it looked like back in September.
Okay, so 4 really detailed modules, all linked, modeling the whole farm down to individual animals. But you said the real revolution is the open source part, the transparency.
That's the core of it. With RuFaS, the entire source code, every equation, every assumption is public. Anyone can look under the hood.
Which is the complete opposite of the proprietary black box.
Totally opposite. They never let you see that.
So what does that transparency do for you, the farmer?
It's huge. You can actually check if the model's assumptions fit your specific farm. Your climate, your soils, your management. You understand its limits, like knowing the NRC stuff is based on research cows, which might differ from yours.
Right.
You can see the confidence level of predictions. You can tweak inputs precisely. And here's a big one. If you see a way to improve it or you have data to refine it, you or your consultant can actually contribute improvements back to the model.
So you become a collaborator, not just a customer paying a subscription.
Precisely. The article uses another good analogy. Would you buy a $150,000 tractor without looking at the engine?
No way.
So why accept software that hides its engine? It's a fair question.
And that transparency, it creates a feedback loop, right? More eyes on the code.
Exactly. Farmers, researchers, advisors, all looking at it, finding bugs, suggesting improvements. That potentially means faster development, faster fixes than a closed system.
Okay, so it's free, it's sophisticated, it's transparent. Let's talk bottom line. What about real results, actual money?
Well, first, you've got the direct savings. That 9.5 to 26 grand a year you aren't spending on licenses, that's real money.
For sure.
Yeah.
But does using RuFaS itself generate profit or savings on the farm? Are there studies?
Yes, the article cites research using RuFaS. A feed efficiency study back in 2021 apparently showed potential savings of $50,000 to $200,000 a year on larger farms just by using the model to optimize feed strategies.
Wow, 200K. That's significant.
And methane mitigation work, evaluating additives like 3-NOP, showing reductions up to 38%. That could mean carbon credit revenue down the line.
Interesting.
Plus, studies looking at repo management, understanding the whole system, impact feed, methane, manure, not just consumption rates.
So these are tangible benefits quantified in research. And didn't you say something about national validation?
This is a big one. The National Dairy Program, Farm Environmental Stewardship version 3, it uses RuFaS as its calculation engine.
The official industry program uses the free tool.
Yes. The thinking is its transparent, process-based approach gives more accurate, defensible, farm-specific footprints than simpler methods if the national program trusts it.
That speaks volumes about its credibility. And all this detail, it must give you incredible power for what-if scenarios.
That's where the real management power comes in, impacting profit and sustainability. You can test changes digitally first, the article says, with pregnancy check precision.
I like that.
What if you harvest silage a week earlier or later? What's the real system-wide impact of switching to sexed semen? Not just the semen cost, but feed changes, replacement rates, manure emissions.
Can your current software really do that, connecting all those dots with that level of farm-specific detail?
Probably not easily, if at all. And it's being used in other research, too, comparing NOSM versus older NRC, looking at genetic progress, analyzing feed supplements. It's cutting-edge stuff.
Okay, the value seems clear. Superior tech, transparent, free, research-backed, industry-validated. But there's always a but, right? It can't be that easy to just switch over.
No, and the article is realistic about that. Implementation needs a reality check. There is a learning curve.
It's not plug and play.
Definitely not. Plan on investing some time up front, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, just digging into the documentation, getting familiar with it.
And data. I imagine it needs good data.
Comprehensive, accurate data. You might need to spend time gathering and organizing info that maybe your current software didn't require. And key people on the farm will need to understand it, operate it, interpret the results.
Patience, too, I bet. Complex simulations take time to run.
They can, yeah. And the technical side is different. It usually runs on your computer, not in the cloud. You need some basic data skills, handling spreadsheets, maybe databases. And support is community-based. Online forums, documentation, not a 1-800 number.
Which isn't necessarily worse, just different.
Different. And farm size matters a bit. The full complexity, all the modules firing, probably gives the biggest bang for the buck on larger operations, say 300-plus cows, maybe with crops, manure handling, environmental reporting needs.
But smaller farms can still use parts of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You could start just with the animal module or focus on feed storage. It's modular.
What about data privacy? That's huge these days.
That's actually a potential advantage here. With RuFaS, your data stays on your computer. It's not on some company's cloud server.
So you control it completely.
You control it. You're responsible for backup, security, everything. No cloud risks, but also no automatic cloud backup. Total control.
That's a big deal for many farms.
Oh.
Okay, so if this thing is free, powerful, transparent, the existing software companies can't be happy. You'd expect pushback.
Oh, for sure. The article anticipates the counter-arguments. First, they'll hit this support angle.
How can free software have good support?
Right. What happens when you need help during breeding season? But, flip that around. How good is proprietary support when their system crashes at a critical time? RuFaS relies on documentation and community collaboration.
They'll probably question reliability, too. Open source is buggy.
Yep. But again, look at the proprietary world. Buggy updates. Products discontinued, vendors holding your data hostage if you want to leave. Happens all the time. Open source, with many eyes on the code, can actually find and fix bugs faster.
And the old standby. It's too complex for farmers.
That one feels, a bit dated, doesn't it? Farmers manage incredibly complex biology, genetics, machinery, finances every single day.
Yeah, running a modern dairy is rocket science.
Exactly. Learning transparent algorithms might be a different skill, but is it inherently more complex than balancing rations or managing transition cows? It feels more like protecting the old model.
The farmer as customer versus farmer as collaborator idea again.
That's the philosophical shift, yeah. moving from just buying a service to actively participating in the tools you use.
So for someone listening, thinking, okay, I'm intrigued, what are the practical steps to get started, according to the source?
It lays out a phased approach. Phase 1, education and exploration. Give it maybe 2 weeks. Go to the Cornell RuFaS project page, download the manuals, read up, understand what it can do, and ask yourself that hard question. Can you afford not to look into this, given the potential flaws in your current tools?
Okay, phase 1 is learning. Then?
Phase 2, pilot testing. Say the next 3 to 6 weeks. If it looks promising, try running RuFaS alongside your current software. Pick one thing, maybe ration balancing for one group, or modeling manure nutrients. Compare the outputs. The article suggests this can be really eye-opening.
Finding out maybe your expensive software wasn't quite right.
Potentially. Then phase 3, scenario development. Weeks 7 to 12, maybe. Start using it for real what-if questions. Test a change digitally before you make it on the farm. Change a feed ingredient, model a different breeding strategy, look at manure storage options. Start simple, but pick something with impact.
Makes sense. Test the waters.
Phase 4, integration planning. This takes longer, maybe 4 to 6 months. Figure out how to weave RuFaS into your regular management routines. Train people. Maybe adjust how you collect data. Think of it as upgrading your decision-making process, not just swapping software.
And the last phase.
Phase 5, community engagement. This is ongoing. Join the online RuFaS community. Share what you learn, ask questions, give feedback. Help make the tool better for everyone.
The learning curve is there, but it sounds manageable. If you can handle current farm software, sync heat systems, use spreadsheets.
You likely have the foundation to learn RuFaS. It's different, but doable.
And the future potential sounds exciting too. Sensor integration, global adaptation, policy.
Yeah, that policy angle is interesting. Because it's transparent and science-based, it's more likely to be trusted by regulators or programs needing accurate environmental data.
So do you want software regulators trust because they can see the math, or software that hides it?
It frames the choice clearly.
It really does. So wrapping this deep dive up, the choice presented seems pretty stark.
It is. Keep paying thousands for potentially opaque, maybe less advanced tools where you're just a customer. Or embrace this free, transparent, collaborative model where you have more control and understanding.
And the article suggests early adopters could get a real competitive edge. This isn't just theoretical anymore.
The shift seems to be happening. It definitely makes a strong case for taking a hard look at the tools you rely on. You can find the original article and more insights over at www.thebullvine.com and look up the Cornell RuFaS project page too.
And that wraps up today's deep dive into the RuFaS revolution. If this episode got your wheels turning, and it should have, here's what I want you to do right now. First, don't just file this away as interesting information. The farmers who succeed aren't the ones who wait for perfect solutions. They're the ones who recognize game-changing opportunities and act while their competitors are still debating. Before you renew another software subscription, before you accept another proprietary algorithm excuse, take one afternoon to explore RuFaS. Visit the Cornell University RuFaS project page, download the documentation, and run a comparison with your current software. You might be shocked by what you discover about the tools you've been paying premium prices for. Remember, this isn't just about saving money, though saving up to $260,000 over a decade isn't nothing. This is about joining a community of forward-thinking farmers who are building the future of agricultural technology together, where transparency isn't just a buzzword, but the foundation of everything we do. The revolution has already begun. The only question is, which side of history will you choose? If you found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the Bullvine podcast and share this with fellow producers who need to hear this message. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode, and leave us a review. It helps more farmers discover content that could transform their operations. For more game-changing insights, industry analysis, and stories that matter to dairy professionals, visit us at thebullvine.com. Because at the Bullvine, we're not just covering the dairy industry, we're helping to revolutionize it one story at a time. Until next time, keep pushing boundaries, keep asking tough questions. And remember, the future of dairy farming is in your hands. This has been the Bullvine Podcast. I'm your host, and we'll see you in the next episode. Just